Muskan. To tell you a little bit about Toastmaster Muskan, she is an entrepreneur and public speaking coach by profession, a graphologist and Toastmaster by passion, and is on her way to get certified as a soft skills trainer and image consultant. She has recently also completed her NLP master practitioner and has become a certified NLP coach. In her free time, she creates content on Instagram, which we all are aware about and in awe of. She joined Toastmasters in 2019. She has served as in different capacities in an executive committee officer role. She has also been an area director and won several awards for several speaking events. She is currently an area director of Area A1 in the District 125, which covers Siliguri, Darjeeling, and Bhutan. So please get your hands together for Toastmaster Muskan. Thank you, Toastmaster Muskan.
Thank you so much. Am I clearly audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. We know that evaluation is called the breakfast of champions in Toastmasters. I think everyone knows this quote, right? Well, I would say I am no champion, but it is because of evaluations I am here today and I'm able to take a session on how to ace evaluations. In our daily life, or as we say, day in and day out, we use evaluations, be it in our professional life or our personal life. Everywhere we are evaluating someone some way or the other. And I think Toastmasters has given us a wonderful way to evaluate someone. So structured and something that would be pleasant to hear, as well as everyone would appreciate and no one would feel bad. People say it's sugar-coated. Well, I deny that. It's not sugar-coated. It's just truth told in a proper manner. That's what I say when it comes to evaluation in Toastmasters. Now, when it comes to today, I'm going to speak about how to evaluate in a contest. It's not different from a club, honestly, because you are evaluating a speaker's speech ultimately. You are telling something that is going to add value to the speaker because they want to improve in their public speaking journey. So do not take it as something different than what is to be done in the club, because whatever you are practicing in a club is what you are going to deliver at a contest, right? There's nothing different, just that you are being judged in that level and there are certain factors to be taken care of. And today I would be highlighting that. I would be dividing my entire session into 3 parts. The first would be things to do before the contest, things to do during the contest, like when you are hearing the speech, what do you do that? And while delivering, as well as when organizing the content that you will use for evaluation. My first question to all of you goes is, what are the few things that you observe when it comes to evaluating a speech?
I think the body language comes the first.
Body language. Okay, body language, yes.
Yes. Whether the person's words can be heard clearly and are understood. The message is understood.
So clarity as well as being audible, right? Yes. And the message is clearly understood. Okay. What else?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm, yes, definitely.
The way the speech is organized.
The way the content is organized, the speech is organized. I would love if all of your videos are on. No one likes to talk to blank spaces, even I don't. So it'll be great if your videos are on. Yes. So these are certain things that we evaluate when it comes to evaluating a speech. Now, what is your task? Before the contest, you have to make a list of all the things that you feel you can evaluate in a speech. Now, when it comes to body language, do not just mention body language, mention the subtopics of body language. What are the factors that you will also see in body language? The hand gestures, the facial expression, the stage movement, the posture. Write everything down. What are the things that you are going to evaluate in a speech? Today, I am just saying everything that I do and that has helped me win several evaluation contests, as well as always win the club evaluations. So I'm just going to say my formula of success today. So the first thing is make a list of everything that you feel you can evaluate. from eye contact to the content structure to the way the story is organized. If it's a storytelling speech, if it's a persuasive speech, what are the things that you're going to notice? If it's a motivational speech, what are the things that you're going to notice? If it's an argumentative speech, what are the things that you're going to notice? Make a list of all of this. It seems a task, but honestly, that notebook that you make is going to be a Bible for evaluations for a lifetime. That is something that you can start doing before the contest. The second thing that I suggest to do is find phrases and quotes. You might be hearing a lot of speakers using that I could read your body language like a conversation. The words that came out were so soothing to my ears. Do you think they made up that on spot? Well, I would differ here. They didn't. It was in their head from before. Find quotes that would reflect what you are trying to say. Find quotes and phrases that you would speak if a person has great voice modulation. Find quotes which you think you can speak if someone has organized the speech really well. And there are quotes and phrases available. There are several anecdotes available. Find those. Make a list of all these. Evaluation is not something that is done impromptu on the spot after just hearing the speech. There's a lot of work done behind. All of this is not seen, but it is very important. And there are several quotes and phrases that you can use. Anyone who would like to share a few quotes or phrases that you generally use in your evaluations? Yes, Gina.
Your enthusiasm was infectious.
Your enthusiasm was infectious, yes. Toastmaster Meenakshi.
So it's not a quote as such, but I say that if the person had humor here and there, so I say that it had sprinkles of humor, like sprinkle chocolate chips on a plain vanilla ice cream.
That's beautiful, right? If a speaker or the audience is hearing that, they'll be in awe of this. Wow, she described it so well, right? Like when someone has a wonderful smile, the speaker, I just say, you had a $1 billion smile. So you can use all of these. Okay, I think I have something on the chat. Opening and closing of a speech are like two sides of a mirror. Yes, beautiful. So all of these quotes, you can make a kitty of all of these quote phrases. It might happen, you might not remember on the main day all of them. But out of 100, even if you remember 3, your work is done, right? So make a list of everything for good voice modulation, good body language, good eye contact. Make a list of all of these. This is the second thing that I do when what comes before the contest. The third thing that I do especially for the contest is I practice evaluations. And how do I practice evaluations? I go to YouTube, pick up a random speech, listen to that and try to wrap up my evaluation in 5 minutes and then record a video also. I did that much effort because I really wanted to work on my evaluations. If you do not want to do that in a club meeting, you are there. You are listening in the club meeting all of the speeches. Today, there were 4 speakers because there were 4 evaluators I saw. You as an audience could have evaluated all the 4 speeches in your notebook and just shared with the speaker offline. You could also match your evaluation with what the evaluator has evaluated. So you would know, okay, I am on the same line, or maybe I have a different perspective to it. This is how you practice. If you do not want to sit and listen to a speech, total speech, you can do it in a club meeting. That's the best way you can do. Utilize the time. These are few ways that you can practice before the main contest. If someone can tell me, when is your contest? EST?
Second week of October.
Second week of October. So I am sure you're going to have at least 4 meetings before that. 4 meetings, 3 speeches. You've evaluated 12 speeches. That is more than enough to practice for an evaluation speech contest, right? So that is something that you can do. Practicing evaluations. The 3 top things that I feel any speaker or any evaluator should do. Number 1, list out all the things that you want to evaluate. Second, find out some quotes and phrases that you can use in your speech. And number 3, practice evaluations. This is all before the contest, the homework basically that needs to be done so that you can ace the final exam. Now comes what to do during the contest. A lot of people say that if you must have heard that timer, it's told to the timer, the speech starts after the first non-verbal or the verbal message by the speaker, right? But your evaluation should start way before that. Your evaluation should start when the speaker switches on their camera, if it's on a Zoom platform. The confidence with which the speaker says, am I audible? Am I visible? The confidence with which the speaker is standing silently. That is when your evaluation starts, which is something a lot of evaluators might miss out. They might start with, okay, when the speaker starts speaking. But also the confidence matters when the person is coming on stage. If it would have been an online stage, there are 1,000 people in the audience, everyone would see the speaker walking on stage. So that is something that the speaker should know if they are delivering a speech or a presentation. So that is when your evaluation starts. Second thing, when the evaluator is speaking, I do not write the entire evaluation. Because though we are great at multitasking as human beings in this generation, I am sure. However, we miss out on the smaller aspects. Because if there are 10 participants in an evaluation contest, everyone is seeing the big chunk content, right? If, for example, he did not have a great body language, everyone could see that as a recommendation. But what different did you see? That is what matters ultimately. Imagine you're the 10th contestant. 9 people have spoken about the body language, and again, you repeat the same particular thing, right? So it has to be something different. And if you keep writing your evaluation at that point of time, you might miss out on the smaller details, the finer details. So what I do is, when the evaluation starts, I just put a tick. For example, the body language was great. I put a tick and I write example. Where exactly was the body language great? If I feel the content was really well organized, what are the instances that I saw that the content was very well organized? I just wrote example 1, example 2, example 3. If I felt the speaker should have modulated their voice at this particular situation, instead of writing the entire situation, for sure I'm going to remember the speech. It's just a 7-minute speech, right? So I'm just going to mention that example. Okay, this is the point where the speaker should have modulated their speech. What happens is when you have those 5 minutes to write down the evaluation, you have the examples. You just need to frame your entire content. So you do not lose a lot of time in that. And you also get the finer details with examples. Because when you are delivering an evaluation, if you repeat the same thing that the speaker has already spoken, does not make sense. It's not adding value to the speaker ultimately, because they are hearing the exactly same thing what they just spoke. They would want to hear what I did better. What can I improve more, right? So this is the second thing. Do not really write the entire evaluation. Write examples, and that would be enough. This is what you can do during the contest. Now, those 5 minutes that you have to write the contest, it seems like it just goes very quickly, passes very quickly. But what to do in those 5 minutes? Number 1, have a great opening. Even though you're evaluating, it's still an evaluation speech contest. Those 2.5 minutes are your time to deliver an outstanding performance with a great speech. The opening of the speech matters a lot. A lot of people go with this opening, normal opening, that you were fantastic. It was a fantastic speech, right? This is very cliche, if you can't think of anything, literally anything in this world, then use this line, I would say, or have more adjectives. But what I have usually seen evaluators doing is they pick up few lines from the speech itself. Like I feel Toastmaster Meenakshi did that today. She picked up a line from the speech itself, right? So when you pick up a line from the speech itself and do the opening, it automatically becomes a great opening. Or you can ask a question to the audience, which was a part of the speech. Maybe the speech was talking about procrastination. So you ask a question related to that, and if maximum of the audience reply yes, that means the speaker fulfilled the objectives, right? So, but again with question, just be on the safe side, because since again it's a club it's a contest, so objectives part is not there. However, always try to have a different opening rather than going with "you were amazing, this was great." The second thing, the transitions. Can someone tell me what exactly are the transitions in an evaluation contest or in an evaluation?
Going from the commendations to the recommendations.
Yes. And how can we do that in a evaluation?
Not by judging or by suggesting the things.
Okay. Can you tell me a few lines that a lot of people use to change from commendation to recommendation?
They say directly that now coming to the areas of improvement or areas of suggestion.
Right. Toastmaster Ashwin was trying to say something.
And something like being said that, I would like to also suggest like something on those lines, like a bit more transition along there.
Right. Have you also heard metaphorical transitions? Rings a bell? Can someone give an example of metaphorical transitions? Of how they use biryani, or they bring in sandwich, or they bring in cake. Any example that you can think of right now?
I'm just taking a few from the cake example. The icing on the
Okay.
cake was this point for me. But that's still not a transition. I think that's still the way you're giving the commendation.
Correct. Okay. So a lot of people use this transition that your whatever speech that you spoke, like talking about biryani, it was very well cooked, everything was well done, but few spices were missing. And those spices would be 1, 2, 3. Your speech was like a 3-star speech. And I would like to give you 2 more stars to make it a 5-star speech. And then they mentioned 2 recommendations, right? So you can also try these transitions. You can think about it beforehand, but sometimes there are speeches from which you can take those transitions. I remember there was a speaker in my club and there was an evaluator. He had delivered a speech about the communication being a bridge, something like that. And the evaluator took the bridge as a part of the evaluation. That the vehicle was parked in the middle of the bridge. To go from the middle to that side of the bridge, I would like to give you a few recommendations. Now that sounded very unique at that point of time. Now it totally depends if it clicks at that. You don't have to think a lot, obviously. You can also plan beforehand. I remember in 2019, I went for an evaluation contest and I heard someone speaking about their speech was like a painting on a canvas. It is missing those few colors. So the colors would be, and then he mentioned 1, 2, 3. It sounded nice. It sounded creative. Even though you are not going to get a lot of marks for all of this, but it sounds nice. Right? It sounds different than what the usual way that the other speakers would be speaking. And speaking and taking the example of sandwich and cake, I think they have become very common and everyone kind of uses this. Even the example of cricket and scoring runs, like a 4 and a 6er, that has become very common. But there's no harm in trying those. You can try different methods. What comes to you naturally, use that. But transitions should be very clear. Even if you are using a very simple line, that your speech was great, or your speech was good, and I would like to give you few pointers, or I would like to give you few recommendations to take it to the next level. There's one more. Your speech was here. To take it from here to here, I would like to give you few suggestions. These are few common transitions that you can use to deliver your content or your structure in the evaluation. Apart from this, what also matters is the number of commendations, recommendations. What do you think is the ideal range?
3 and 2.
2 to 3.
So either you can balance it out like 3 and 3, or you can go with 3 and 2, and everything is good. But just have that much that you can fit in the time. Never play with the red card, I would say. It just passes very fast. The time goes, I don't know, it just goes very quickly. But never play with the red card, I would say. So have commendations and recommendations balanced. Now, how do you choose what to take as commendation, what to take as recommendation? I get this question a lot because sometimes when you're writing recommendation, you feel, all the 6 look as recommendation, but what do I choose now? Choose something that you feel will largely impact the speech. If you feel that, okay, this part, this recommendation would work here, but you feel this wouldn't largely impact the speech, then do not count it as a recommendation. Have a commendation and have a recommendation that you feel if this would not be there, it would have highly impacted the speech, or the speech would have been incomplete, or the speech is incomplete because of this. That should be your commendation and recommendation. 2 commendation and recommendation should be full-fledged and structured. And the third one can be in brief. That is okay. But at least 2 should be well structured, and that should make a difference in the speech. Like if today I am hearing that recommendation, I should feel, okay, wow, if the speaker would have done this, the speech would have really gone to the next level. So that should be the choice of your commendation and recommendation, and that you would know by the number of examples that you get while you are noting down during the evaluation. If for one particular point you are getting 6 to 7 examples, that means the speaker really needs to work on this particular point, right? So that is how you choose the choice of recommendation and commendation. Next, I know I'm the only one speaking, but seeing the time crunch, I would just go ahead. Then the next is the word usage. You do not really need to be Shashi Tharoor of English language when it comes to evaluation. People want to hear simple and plain words which they would really understand, and they do not need to Google. Okay, what did it mean exactly? What is it trying to say? No, they just want to hear plain feedback. Okay, how do I improve, or how do I get better? So use words which are very simple. You can also use good adjectives, I would say, which come in the speech a lot and which is used. Like for example, you want to say good. So maybe you can have good adjectives for that, like fantastic, fabulous, awesome. You can use that, but do not use something that you feel people might have never heard of. That is what my recommendation would be regarding the word usage. And the last would be conclusion. How can we conclude in an evaluation contest? Any idea?
Summarize whatever you said.
Giving the best.
Correct. Summarize whatever you said. Do not introduce one more new point in your conclusion. It's a summary. Basically, whatever you have just spoken, you just say that in a nutshell. That, like, for example, the most common conclusion that I use is that your speech was fantastic. You could keep polishing your strengths like 1, 2, 3, and you can start improving on 1, 2, 3. And I am sure you will deliver power pack performances in the future. Very simple, very plain, covers all the aspects that I want to give. It's motivating, it's encouraging at the end. And the the speaker remembers what exactly you just stated. This is the best way to conclude. Do not miss any pointer. And what it also ensures that the judges have a clear idea, okay, these were her point-to-point recommendations, or these were his point-to-point recommendations. Now, this is what I follow before the contest, during the contest, and after the contest. I would just like to conclude my training today with what exactly is judged, how exactly are you scored in an evaluation contest. The first thing is 40 marks is carried by the analytical quality. How clear and focused was your evaluation? 40 marks is carried by that. 30 marks is for the recommendations. How positive, how specific, and how helpful were your recommendations? 15 marks is for the technique. That means how sensitive, how emotional was your technique, that you didn't really go all out front and say, okay, straightforward and say, oh, you were really bad at this. No one wants to hear that, honestly. And the last 15 marks is for summarization. How, in an encouraging way, you summarize your entire evaluation. 15 marks is a lot of marks that one carries. Now, a lot of people ask me that, Muskan, there's no marks for delivery, on how do we deliver, and if we aren't good at delivery in an evaluation contest, what happens? There are no marks for delivery. But there are brownie points for delivery. If today I am delivering an evaluation and I am not smiling, I'm having a grumpy face, the speaker wouldn't like it. Imagine the plight of the speaker. You are saying something that you really want them to improve and you are having a laughing face throughout. And say, what? Is this a recommendation or a commendation? I'm not understanding, right? The general human tendency. So try to work on your delivery also, because I feel it stands out when it comes to your delivering of the evaluation, because there's always a war between content versus delivery. So keep both balanced. That is it that I would say from my end. All the best to all of you for the evaluation contest. And with that, I would hand over to the presiding officer. If there are any questions, you can ask me. Toastmaster Arun, over to you. Okay, we have a question.
Thank you so much. It was fantastic session. Really noted most of the points that you said. We invite questions from audience if they have any. If they not and they are just thinking, I can start with one. You said first impression. About first impression, the moment someone opens the camera or the moment someone comes on the stage, you should read, or one should read what is their confidence level, how they are feeling. But how to use it, if you can just quickly tell us how to use it in the evaluation.
So if you feel that the speaker was confident from the start, when the speaker appeared, till the end, the confidence was there. You can say that your confidence was infectious, or we could see that you were really enthusiastic about the speech, or your confidence really showed in the content of the speech, or it added more value when you were delivering the speech, or it made us enthusiastic while we were listening to your speech. And so this is what something that you can speak on.
Okay, thanks. Sure. Yes, Chinal, please.
So I actually have two questions. The thing is, so what if the speech was actually flawless and you really have no recommendations? Is that okay to do? That's one.
Okay.
And sorry, maybe if you want to answer that, because I had one more question.
Go ahead with the second question.
And the other question was, so you mentioned you need to put down parameters basis which you evaluate. But there is an evaluation form which Toastmasters International has. So I'm just trying to understand, are you saying something over and above that? Because if the person doesn't know he's going to be evaluated on that, is it a fair parameter to add is my only question. That's all.
Okay. For the first point, there are world champion of public speaking, even their speeches are evaluated and people find flaws. So I am not sure if there's a question that there might be flawless speaker. That means you might be missing on something for sure.
Okay.
Because there is definitely a room of improvement for everyone when it comes to speeches. So next time you can maybe observe better. I feel that would be my first answer. Second is, today I was talking specifically about evaluation speech contests. Now, when it comes to club evaluation contests, everyone has a evaluation form, and there are certain objectives according to which an evaluator evaluates. Apart from that, as an evaluator, I feel it is my duty to always reach out to the speaker and ask, do you want to be evaluated on any other aspect apart from this? Because I would just give a personal example. I am a really fast-paced speaker. So whenever someone tells me that, Muskan, I'm evaluating you, I personally reach out to the evaluator and say, please see how fast am I speaking. That is not mentioned in the evaluation sheet, but I really want to improve on that. So that is something that you can do as an evaluator.
So you can reach out to the speaker.
Yes,
and
definitely.
Ask if they have anything in mind.
Yes, definitely.
Fine.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you so much, Muskan.
No problem.
Yeah, Meenakshi, please.
Yes.
So Muskan, you mentioned about having a point. So for example, if you're the 10th evaluator and 9 people have already spoken before you and you need to have something unique. So for example, if the speaker froze in between, let's say hypothetically, and majority of us would say that, as a point of improvement that, you froze in between, so practice better. But another way to look at it would be that you can use it as a commendation, like say that, you froze in between, but still you didn't give up. So,
yes.
So how does this fit in with the other point that you mentioned that it should largely impact the evaluation?
it does largely impact the evaluation, because if a speaker frozen between, the person still completes the speech with confidence and the person still does not lose confidence. If the person would have lost confidence, the entire speech would have gone haywire. So it largely impacts the speech. I'll give you one more example here, talking about differently. So there was a speaker and who had a fabulous eye contact. There was one evaluator who gave a very weird evaluation. The person told, you had a great eye contact. However, when you went to this side of the stage, you were already covering this side of the audience. So you could have really looked that side. And when you went to this side of the stage, this side of the audience is covered. So you could have really looked that side. No, no one in this world would have thought of this evaluation. And it made sense, honestly. So that is how you kind of find different perspective to evaluations. So yes, that perspective would really work when it came to the evaluation.
Anyone else? Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Muskan, for the session as well as the
Thank you so much.